Okay.
Gotta have a little intro music.
Powered by Riverside.
Okay, we're back. 3 guys, many games. Another week in the books of the Pro League. All right. How we doing? We got the GOAT, Vinny Sombrato.
I'm here.
Got my man, Rob Smalley.
Yeah, big story to Mr. Wellner. I got a new guy from Charlotte, a new friend. Take it easy. Let him frame the show. Take it easy.
Well,
Listen,
he wants to talk about all the future guests. We're going to get Mr. Wellner on. He's
easy.
scheduled for next week.
Mr. Kramer.
We got Mr.
Wellner.
I said Mr. Wellner.
Get your vocabulary straight, Steven.
I said, trust me, I said Wellner. You need to.
Excuse me. I stand to be excused. Me.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But we'll have I think we're going to have somebody pop in a bit and help us with our discussion. But to get us started, the game picks, you didn't have a great week, Smalls. You're dropping down the standings. I've drawn even after a bad start. I had a 4-0 week. Caught up. Vin dropped a couple games, gave me a little bit of a chance to come back there. I'm going to even show you. I had let's see how I do this.
Steven, can you somehow be a little louder on the mic or something?
I'd be a little louder. It's hard to be as loud as you, Smalls.
No, I know. But thank you for the compliment.
And then we're gonna break in here with. Let me just break that up, and then
there we go. There it is. There's the stand.
And another guest.
Oh, this is Christ Almighty!
He's back.
Man.
Frank Tash is back.
Oh, God. You turned the clock back 10 years.
He's scaring me. We got you loud. We got you loud and clear, but you're driving all over. Who knows what internet you're about to drive?
Is this guy driving?
He's literally driving. He's like the guy. There was a meme where the guy went into the virtual court with a suspended license, driving like that,
yeah.
and the judge says, "Are you driving?" And they send the warrant out and go get the guy right away.
Frank's got more tickets at Adelphi than any man alive.
Well, we got Frank on for obviously lacrosse knowledge, but we'll also and obviously Frank went to Adelphi, so we could talk a little bit about Adelphi winning that national championship. While we have Frank, you went down, didn't you? Go down to the national championship.
But didn't it rain for 10 minutes in the third quarter, I think? But it helped them. It rejuvenated. Is that the first championship they won under the guy from Australia?
Gordon Purdy on the board.
Good for Gordon, man.
Good for them. Yeah.
I really hope. Wait a minute. I really hope he's coming through because, again, he didn't follow directions, Tash. You're driving all over. I don't know if you're recording right now. I don't know. Right now, I'm seeing upload complete. I'm not seeing it. Or maybe his internet is so good now on a new phone.
It looks like he's doing great.
Instantaneous. Is okay. Maybe he's instantaneous. That's fine, too. You're good. You're good. You're good. Well, we're starting with the big week that I had and the Pro League games, which went off. PLL, big week. Started off with the Cannons down in Philly playing the Water Dogs, and it ended up an OT game. The Cannons beat the Water Dogs in that OT game off of a face-off goal, guy going forward. And probably the story of the game is the guy he did well on the face-offs, and he scored 2 goals, one of them being a 2-pointer that was almost from...
Give his name. Give the man some credit. Zach Tucci.
Yeah. There goes Tish off the satellites.
What did you say,
Oh.
Tucci?
Tucci.
Gucci.
Sounds like an Italian dish I ordered the other day. Tucci. Tucci Fazoo.
So that game, I mean, listen, the Water Dogs are still searching for their first win. They're a championship team. They're a finalist team, and now they this year they can't seem to get a win. But they would end up playing, based on how the PLL does this schedule with the home team getting 2 games. That was the first game of the weekend. The Cannons, Vin, are the Cannons a team that have to be looked at potentially as a championship team?
And, this league is so funny from its inception. There's teams that in the bubble year, you want to call it, I think Chaos didn't win a game and then made it to the finals. There's been teams that have been on the bottom that rose up to the top. The most consistent team early definitely was the Whip Snakes. They won a couple right in the first couple of years. And, they bounced back this weekend also, had a big win in overtime. But, the talent level and who you get playing in any given week, and you got a lot going on right now because you have some tryouts for the Sixers team. You got a lot of, and that's why I think they get the league is off this week.
I'm asking you if the Cannons are a team.
Particularly, I think
That's
every team from top to bottom has a chance. Are there teams that does Atlas look like the best team? Yes, they're 4-0. They score goals in big bunches, but I wouldn't be surprised. If they have an off day, they would be beat.
Is there a cause for concern with the Water Dogs right now?
The Water Dogs, I think, are gonna. I think.
Listen, they got very low production in scoring, other than Sowers and McCardle.
Well, they got a big game out of Zach Currier this week, which is, he's an all-around guy, he's a jack of all trades, but, I always thought people should use him more on offense. I think he's a good offensive player, and he had a nice game. That injected
I'm on the Cannons game. The Cannons game, it was only Sowers and McCardle.
In that particular game, yeah. In that game, they're struggling offensively to score goals. There's no question. They have to, the teams that are successful in this league translate defense to offense quickly and get opportunities in broken situation. 6-on-6, probably, I don't know who's the best team in a 6-on-6 setting, but, there's a lot of, I think these teams with this face-off rule and whether or not team can suit up a face-off guy, how that impacts the game, I think they're feeling their way out. Bill Tierney, I mean, I guess this reminded him of when he took the job at Princeton the first year. I don't know if he won, many games his first year, but I'm sure he'll get it together. He'll figure it out. A little new to him. I don't know who's in the lineup, out of the lineup, who's trying out for some of these U.S. teams that might be missing for teams. And by the way, you mentioned McCardle and some of these guys, they're starting to get a little up there in age. Not that 30 or 31 or 32, whatever they may be, is old, But in this league, with the kind of shape some of these college guys coming out, it's getting harder to compete, as a guy. And I think
How the heck did you last so long, Mr. Iron Man?
Yeah,
He's talking about getting old. And the guy lasted, he played last year in the summer league.
is a different.
Smalls.
He was 60 years old last year, 65 in the summer league.
Smalls. One time, Kessenich, when we were playing, and it was MLL, Kessenich was talking about Finneran. He was calling him Ponce de Leon or something. He was, or Don Quixote. He's like, he's Don Quixote chasing windmills. And then he said, and Vinny, he's a fossil.
Yeah, that's true. And that was true. Well, look, I couldn't compete in this league now at an advanced age. I mean, these guys are really, they're playing. They're getting up and down.
He would never last. Vinny would never last this long in the leagues today with the training and stuff that these kids have.
Why? Vinny would train. Listen to it again.
Vinny did it on natural ability. Vinny was a natural athlete.
Look at me. I'm yesterday's news. Yeah. Let's talk about.
I want to ask Dash a strategic question in this game, because maybe he didn't see that game-winning goal. It was a typical Fogo goal. The guy, he had a 2-point goal, which was like a Hail Mary at the end of a quarter, but he obviously was doing well on the faceoffs. Now, the Water Dogs, what they did in that overtime faceoff, they put 2 poles on the wings, okay? But putting 2 poles on the wings means you have to put that short stick down on the base defense. And the Cannons guy popped it forward and brought it down, even with the wings closing on the guy. He had enough room before, I guess the point defenseman was the short stick. He was the closest guy to the faceoff man as he shot it in. And maybe if he had a long pole in his hand, he might have made a different play on that guy. So my question is, did the Water Dogs expose themselves? Would the better strategy have been to keep your 3 defensemen down, protecting your goal, rather than putting the poles at the wing?
What do you think?
Well, do you think, I guess, did you think, Vin, you think the poles are better at picking up the ball? I mean, if you're concerned, if you're putting the poles out there as a defensive maneuver, to me, I'd rather have that defenseman down on the base, because I remember from MLL when we would practice that, as it's very hard to guard a fast break when one of the guys is a short stick. You're far more exposed than having the 3 defensemen if a fast break occurs. That short stick is a big difference.
You got to remember too. Typical of how when we play and in college, the box it's a straight line. In the PLL, it's the arc, right? The offensive guys got to stay within the arc until the ball.
Right. Yeah.
So that changes the dynamic a little bit because of the arc. And defensively, if you do put short guys down there, let's say the guy does pop it forward like the guy did. Does the guy who's at the top of the arc, should he just go play that guy and let one of the poles instead of chasing that guy? Should he run to the wing instead? There's that kind of strategy.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that game-winning goal that obviously was the defining play of the game, the poles on the wing were closing on the face-off man, but trailing.
No, they ended up useless. They ended up useless. I think maybe if I was gonna put two other poles up on the wing, right? I think I would put the guy who's in the center of that arc. The highest point should be a pole. And if the guy does push it forward, let that pole go play that guy coming down and let the other pole run to the other attackman as the other guy tries to find somebody.
Right.
Oh, look, that one goal won the game, but it didn't define the game. You're right. They're having struggle scoring, Water Dogs, and they got to figure it out. Atlas, who, they're the highest scoring team in the league, and I'm not even just saying because they played an extra game. They played 4 games. Most teams played 3. Redwoods only played 2. But they got the 3 top scorers in the league. They're quitting up. I don't know. They got to be averaging close to 18 goals a game.
And look how old they are. They're all younger than the other players.
Well, those guys are not. The Atlas guys are not really old. You got T on attack, and you got 2 rookies. He played last year. The other kid from Virginia, Dixon, right? You got Schellenberg as a rookie. You got the other guy, and they just really know how to play well together. They've meshed well. I mean, the 2 Virginia guys have history together. Now you throw T, he could play with anybody. That guy, you just roll him out. He could pretty much play with anybody. The skill set he has and his lacrosse IQ.
Where did he come out of the blue? Where did he play last year?
He's not out of the blue. He was one of the top players.
Okay.
He's one of the top players in indoor. He's a sniper. That kid can really play. He's not physically intimidating by any stretch. He's not big, but he just really knows how to play the game, which I got to say, for young kids who watch the game and see how he plays and see his size and all, it gives them hope that now he's elite. But there's other guys, Chris Gray out there, the Sowers, man. We talk about bigger, faster, stronger, but these guys in the highest level of the game, are really playing, are succeeding. And some
when
of the
they're taking damage hits, though, they are taking big hits.
No, Smalls, your man, again, back to the Cannon game, because we have the other 3 games to go through, but your man Pat Kavanaugh, made a nice goal. They put him behind the goal, came from behind, put a nice bounce shot in. So they're starting to maybe use him a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let me
move him around.
I think Rabel, and I said it before, I think he does a phenomenal job in what he does. And the hope was always that, The problem with even what we're calling pro lacrosse, and I had this conversation with my ex-teammate Jim Metzger this morning, and uncle of Rob Pinnell after the Redwoods game. I said the hope was that if guys could really make a living, how great this game could be if you were practicing every day like they are in college. They get a little training camp, so they do a little team bonding. They try to get on the same page. You don't even have everybody at that. Then you're playing once a week where you're playing, or maybe twice when you have that home team thing. But you're practicing once before that. How hard can you go the day before a game? So the game compared to the college game where guys are playing every day practically, they give them a day off here and there, but you're much more coordinated with what you're trying to do offensively, defensively. So that's what makes it tough. The game would be a much better package if, like I said, these guys were together, living in the same area and playing together 5 days a week, and really, for what it is, it's a great game. For me, it's fun to watch.
They got no time in the game, Vinny. One day a week.
We
They
might
got
have
no
to
time. They
might
pay
have to-
35,000, maybe 55,000 for the top player. That's
Right.
all you're talking.
No,
So they
I-
go from city to city.
Yeah,
You
no,
get
I,
1,000 a game with a Twinkie in your bag. What are you really getting? I mean, you're not getting much.
well,
I
Yeah,
think
you're
you got to
back.
go completely out. I think you got to go completely out and in. I don't think he's recording. I don't see a recording button next to him.
how did he go off? You think?
I don't know. Well, he's driving around.
We thought the new phone was going to work.
Hey, Vinny. Hey, Vinny. Can you hear me, Ben, or no?
It doesn't matter if you're not recording.
Can I just...
I don't see record. I see
Well, I wanted-
record.
Ben, what I wanted to tell you is, you're right about what you're saying. I don't disagree. More you play more, you'll be better. They're on restricted rules. They have salary caps and everything. I believe it's like...
I know all of that. I understand all of that.
No, I'm saying the salary cap's like $700K. There's not a lot to go around. So if you pay a guy $55,000, that's a lot of money for what their salary cap is. They only carry 13 players, right?
No,
Now you're recording.
13.
Now Tash is in.
He's back.
Hey.
No, they carry. I think they suit up either 17 or 18. Don't they? Like we used.
Well,
They
maybe-
suit up.
maybe
The
right.
roster's a little bigger than that. You don't get paid if you're not playing. I don't think.
no, you don't get paid like that.
Well, look, like I'm just making the point that in all sports, if you're practicing all week with guys, you're clearly going to be more coordinated
Yeah.
offensively or anything, So for what they're doing and how they're doing it, you'd get a high level play. I mean, the skill
Yeah.
levels off the charts. There are some beautiful plays, and it is what it is. So just take it for what it is and enjoy it. And for the kids, they can learn something watching these games, even though the rules are a little different and all. But there's definitely things that are common thread, ways that the game's played that you can see,
It's fun.
So-
I'll tell you, you're right, Vinny. I agree with you, man. I love that kid, man, for what he's doing. He's like the prince of the sport. I know you don't like to call him the prince, but the guy is always thinking on the cutting edge, and I give him so much credit for, like you said, for getting where it is today. 55,000 for a top player. 30 years ago, you were making 120 a game, Vinny. I remember when they used to give you cash.
And then 10 years before that, we were paying.
Yeah. They used to give Vinny cash. Vinny used to get didn't you get cash one game, Vinny?
I got nothing. What are you talking? I got traded once for shooting string and 2 handles.
Man, the love of it. That's why you got to talk about the love of the game, man.
Yes,
The guys
that's
love
what
the
it's all
game.
about. Look, these guys, they love playing, and for them, it is, for whatever reasons different guys play, it is exposure. They're on TV, maybe in their job, their boss gets a kick out of it, their boss, who knows, but some of them have lacrosse businesses aside from playing. They got camps, they got clinics, they look. No, I think they do. I think they get it. So
He's
they're-
like the Clint Eastwood of lacrosse. Not the Clint Eastwood, I forget it. I lost my thought there. My friend is in and out. I'm thinking of pasta now. He's in and out.
So game 2 happened, and the big news of that game where
What was game 2? Tell us the teams.
Archers defeated the Chaos 9-7. And Blaze Reardon, he came back from his injury. The obviously very low scoring game, not a lot of offense, and save percentage wise, the guy from the Archers actually outplayed Blaze. In that respect. So tight defensive game. You're not going to see very often where Blaze Reardon gets outplayed percentage wise in the goal. And that might have been the difference. Very low scoring, very close game, could go either way. But Chaos struggling to score goals also.
Yeah, that's surprising. They're usually a pretty potent offensive team. I think they're missing Dane Smith. I think he generated a lot of offense for them over the years he's played in the league.
Now, is he not playing at all?
I think whether he was a holdout, he couldn't come to a contract. I'm not sure what it is, but obviously it hurts not having him in the lineup. He initiates a lot for them. They got some new guys that are pretty good. They got a couple of those Rutgers guys. I think Henningberg's playing for them now, right?
Yeah.
I think they have Ross. I mean, they're good. It's just, both teams ran into pretty hot goaltenders. Blaze, was amazing that they said he dislocated his kneecap and the guy's back in like a week. It's amazing. Right. But he threw a long pass that they gave him an assist on in the game. And, it was a 1-goal game, and they were chasing a little bit, and Tommy Schreiber got loose, and he took a shot, and the ball just trickled over the line. Had he been able to grab that one, they would have been possessing the ball with only needing a goal to tie. But, they ended up needing the 2, and it didn't work for them after that. But like I said, so many of these games, that's why I know I'm a little bit ahead in our picks so far for the season. But mostly I've been picking teams that are getting the 1.5 goals because, in my opinion, these games are coming down to last plays a lot of times. Every now and then there's a team, Atlas they pulled away from the Redwoods the other day. But for the most part, you put on a PLL game, you're watching until the end or you're watching into overtime. The teams have abilities to come back. I see teams that were way behind. I mean, couple of weeks ago, I think it was, when the Whip Snakes were down, I think 10-1, you'd want to shut it off. Next thing you know, they're within a 2-point shot of tying the game. So with the 2-point shot and all of that, there's an ability to catch up quickly. But I think, we'll see. The summer's a grind. We'll see who's there at the end. And how, I don't know how many teams right now make the playoffs, how it's set up now this year. But I know they do have quarterfinal balls are at Hofstra, right? Aren't they quarterfinal games?
Yeah.
At Hofstra.
Yep.
So
that's nice for us.
Always got a box, man. Nobody.
Maybe we could do a broadcast live from this.
We're gonna do. We might have to go. We might have to do it beforehand. Preview.
Yeah.
Show,
Maybe we'll even get some guest players in on it.
Exactly. The next game, as Vinny said, when he's talking to Hollywood, the Redwoods had jumped out on Atlas a little bit, but then you saw how potent that Atlas team can be with their offense, and probably the other story in that is Baptiste got beat. Erlen had like about a 70%, 70.
Erlen was very tough with that.
So that's.
Wait, so you're saying that Baptiste got beat?
He got beat
70%, or you're throwing numbers out there?
No, Erlen was 70%. I think I saw Baptiste was like 37 or 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the first time it's ever been like?
Well, I think
you don't usually lose like that. I mean, somebody might get the best of him in a game, but this was maybe the most one-sided against him it's been. And it wasn't.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does it have to do with wing play also, or just him losing it?
Well, you know what? There were a bunch of those face-offs in that game that I saw where they tied up. Like, normally those two guys, they get it out quick. But against each other, they had like those 20-second tie-ups with the two of them. And then the ball shot out and hit a guy's leg. At that point, it's a 50-50. You know? So.
Smalls. They've been going against each other like big matchups since when Erlen was even at Albany and Baptiste was at Denver. But
what was the score then? It was even?
I think Erlen might have gotten them then.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
It's
But
pretty-
imagine this. Imagine a team.
right?
Imagine this Atlas losing all those face-offs and still winning by 5. Like
Yeah.
if Baptiste is winning at a clip 70%, how are you stopping this team right now? You know, they seem to me they're separating themselves right now, you know, away from probably most teams.
So
You know,
who's the best face-off guy in the league right now? If you had to stop the league midway, this is midway. They only play 8 to 10 games, right? I mean, this is kind of midway.
Well, okay, that's a good segue, Smalls. You've segued us to the next game. So, you know, the other thing I would say about that Atlas game is the guy Kelly Vin. Do you think he's struggling a little bit? He didn't seem
Goalie?
to have such a good game.
Yeah, he's a little bit off. You know,
Who's their second guy?
I don't know.
Cash, can you hear us?
They might have to go with a second guy, you know, and give another guy a
It wouldn't
try.
be the worst thing. I mean,
Well,
look, even backups in these leagues are very capable guys who were starters at a high level in college. Look at Atlas. You know, you got a backup. Maybe somebody
He's
could
back.
trade.
He's back.
Maybe somebody could trade for Entenmann.
Well, that's a
I
thought.
don't think Entenmann wants to sit on the bench the whole year for Atlas.
Right.
And he's too much of a name to do that, you know. They got to get him out there. I mean, he's a Tuaraton winner. I think it's good for the league if he's playing.
Oh, he's not. Whoa, you misspoke. You misspoke, Vinny. Didn't he just
Oh, he
misspoke?
didn't win the Tuaraton. You're right.
Oh,
We-
my
we-
God, caught it.
We
Oh,
picked it.
oh,
We picked him for the Tuaraton. We gave him a
Stevie,
share.
baby, I love it, Stevie.
We gave him a
You
share
love-
of the
You
Tuaraton.
love it, Stevie. I never
Make a mistake,
listen,
man.
Stevie. I never hear anything. All of a sudden, and he never does misspoke. I gotta give him credit. He never misspoke. He never did it. That's right. Technically, we kind of gave him the Tuaraton on our end. We split it between him and Cavalier. So technically, I'm gonna give him a little piece of right.
It was the MVP of the championship.
Oh, I was listening. My ears. I can't believe it.
But
The goat.
here's why it was a good segue, because he was asking about the best face-off guy, and this factors into the fourth game. So that was really the third game. But in the fourth game, and there was a little bit of discussion about this, because I guess in the press conference they were, you know, giving Tierney some hard questions about the strategy, and he was blasting them back a little bit on the strategy, almost telling the press they don't know the game and that, because they basically forfeited every faceoff. Percentage, I guess it's tough to judge percentages. You can't just look at it and say, oh, this guy's got a high percentage, because Nardella won 31 out of 31 because the team basically forfeited every faceoff. You know,
Explain to the viewers.
so they didn't
You got
dress.
explain it to the viewers. Go ahead.
They didn't
Very
dress.
slow.
I don't know if they didn't dress them. I shouldn't say that they didn't dress them, but they weren't putting their best efforts to necessarily win the face-off because of potentially this rule. Now, as we discussed, for the people, if they don't know, the rule is whatever team gains possession of the face-off has a 32-second shot clock rather than the regular 52-second shot clock. And with the short shot clock, by the time you get guys on and off the field, or if you just play offense with the face-off guy on there, which you could do with Nardella because he can play a little bit, you get him involved. He did that in college as well. But, you know, that's a strategy to say you're going to score. Your offensive efficiency is going to be far less on a 32-second shot clock than it is on a 52. So play defense first and then transition the ball and limit that. So I don't know. Is it ultimately a wise strategy? Is something we
It
can
is a
discuss?
wise strategy. It is wise.
They gave up 31 for 31. You know, that's you know, you're giving the other team possession. So I'll change it on this, Smalls. I'm going to switch sports on you and use overtime as the same discussion. Let's imagine you said, okay, in overtime in NFL, you could get the kickoff. The first team to score wins. You could get the kickoff, but it's an 18-yard first down every play. And if you kick off, if you do get the ball back, you have the regular 10 yards. What would you choose? Would you choose to kick it, or would you choose to receive it?
Receive it.
You
I
would
always-
receive it. knowing that you have to go 18 yards.
Yeah, if I got Brady with me or somebody like the GOAT, I have to go.
Okay. What do you think, Vin?
I don't know. Look, there have been games in this league. I know there was a game Baptiste won like 34 out of 40 one week, and they still lost the game. It's definitely having an impact, the shorter shot clock, and there's different strategy involved. If you're going to concede the thing that surprises me is if you're going to concede the face-off, concede it backwards so that they use more to 32. Nardella was getting it very quick, and a lot of times, he was going forward with it, and so they kind of got the whole use of the 32, from when he picked it up, as opposed to you make a guy go backwards and have to clear and throw it to the pole and throw it to the goalie, and now they're playing offense for 15 seconds.
Well,
That's ideal.
They probably have the analytics on all of that, and that's what I think.
They do. I mean, look, all I'm saying is, from an athletic standpoint, defensive standpoint, I know the guy who's facing off is the sacrificial lamb. He's not expected to win because he's not even a face-off guy in most cases when that team's using that strategy, right? So, but if you're an athlete, you don't want the guy to just get it and be running with it right away. Yeah. At least make him go backwards and don't play behind the guy. Cut him off.
But we don't know. We don't know that they didn't do that so effectively. I mean, they lost the game. But how many games, if you took in a college game, how many games where a guy would win 31 out of 31 faceoffs would the losing team have lost in overtime? You know what I mean? Like, that would be a blowout. You would say, wow, they won every faceoff. They trounced the team by
the short shot definitely has an effect. All I'm saying is, if that's going to be my strategy, that I'm not worried about the faceoffs, I would want to even leave them less time. You need a guy, that can make a guy go backwards.
My concern about the strategy, and I don't think it's a bad strategy. I'm not saying it's a bad strategy, but I think it's a strategy that gets you in a close game. I don't know that strategy is going to make you win by 5 or 6.
No, I agree.
So to me, you're conceding that. It doesn't mean you can't win. I think you can win. Like, he could have clearly won the game in overtime, and that's a strategy. But I don't know that you lose 31 out of 31.
So where's the data?
Won by 7. You got to look at that
probably
data.
Have it. They
do it last year, or is this the first year they're doing it?
What is the second year? I think they.
So what does the data say?
I don't know that. I don't know.
How many times did they get the 30-second score? How many times?
Well, that's why you're supposed to hire our producer so that we
we
have
gotta get a studio, man. We got a studio. This thing will work big time.
Studio. Listen to him. He can't even come. We're supposed to start at 10. He's got to come there 11:30. He's running.
Take it easy.
We got Tashman. We got Tashman not even recorded. He's on the.
Tash is gone.
What do you think?
I blame you for that. I blame Vinny for that. Vinny doesn't want to take lead. Vinny gets these guys on. He's great. Tashman's unbelievable. But the guy's driving in a car. Now he got a new phone, and he's still not.
But Vinny's got a new background. Look at Vinny's background.
Listen, Vinny's got a long life to live. We're still going to go. When he gets married and has his kids, I can't wait.
He's got me dead in a year. The next week he's having kids in a long life. I don't know this guy. He goes back and forth with me.
So we didn't have to look at those numbers. I mean, I'm sure those numbers, obviously, they track it. PLL, they got all the iPads, they got the analytics. Abel's got it. I'm sure there's like an offensive efficiency number on the 32-second shot clock alone.
And I can go right to Tierney. Listen, he's the highest paid. Besides the workers, Tierney's the highest paid worker.
Everybody's pocket. Stop counting everybody's pocket.
I'm not counting his pocket. I'm happy for him. He's the biggest fundraiser around. It's my guy.
Maybe he don't want anybody to know he's the highest paid guy.
It's public knowledge, Vincenzo.
It's not. What
are you talking, Billy? You're wrong again. Two times today. He's Billy 2 times. 2 times he's wrong, right?
Salary for the PLL.
It's $75,000 for management.
How is announcing the number? Look at this.
Vin.
Boy, what? If you want to have a secret, don't tell Smolny. Just don't tell
Vin, it's public knowledge.
Not
get
public.
a player gets between 35 to 55,000.
Listen,
A
we got
management-
viewership here of over 1 million people, and you're talking these kinds of things. You got to keep these things under that hat. What hat you got on today, by the way? What hat is that?
Public knowledge. Guys, come on.
He
But
says,
that's what they get, though. That's what they,
well, look, at the end of the day, it goes back to, is it a good strategy? Is it not a good strategy? We'll have to see. I think it keeps you in a game potentially, but I don't know that it makes you
Well,
win.
the other side of that is, if you're not suiting up a face-off guy, you might have an extra player out there. And some of these games, it's hot. Guy teams wear down. Is the extra player worth it? Look, that's what coaches' decisions are for, But, well, look, again, a lot of these games are still coming down to 1-goal games. I mean, they won every face-off, the Whip Snakes, and they won by a goal.
They do want to address the face-off situation, but is it a little extreme when a rule is like where a team strategy is to lose every face-off? Is that
that to me?
It seems a little bit overcorrective to me.
Yeah. All I could say is, if the one thing I would be saying as best the sacrificial lamb face-off guy is, make the guy always go backwards, or play him where he can't just run by you and throw it to somebody. Make him use 8-10 seconds of a clock. You need a guy who's like a defensive back, or there's enough of these short stick guys that can do that. Don't try to take it away from the guys. If your strategy is because you want them to have short clock, shorten the clock even more by playing solid.
Right. I agree with that.
Play solid for the first 5 to 10. Best case scenario, make them go backwards, because if they have to go backwards, now if you know that the face-off guy's got a big advantage, some of these guys are so good on the whistle, and they're facing off against a non-face-off guy, the whistle blows, they turn, they pop it up in the air, and they catch it. It's in their sticker.
Right.
So they're basically, you have to have a guy who's at least pretty good at on the whistle, like driving into a guy, and even if he catches it, he had to go backwards because you're on him. You got to find.
Can you just scrape the ball and hit it backwards? You don't have possession. You hit the ball backwards, and they're getting possession, and then there's six.
These guys, the face-off guy against a non-face-off type guy, the guy gets over the ball so fast and controls it and pushes it out.
Well, and the other thing they adjusted from last year to this year, I believe, they don't, another strategy would be to let a guy like a Constable face off and maybe try to win it, or be on the guy right away if he wasn't going to win it, and have a pole, checking the face-off guy before he's picking it up. Now they can't even have the pole as the face-off guy.
No, they even adjusted that. So, look.
You can't have a pole in the pros, you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so say that.
Well, I think that's another part of making that adjustment. To me, I don't know. I think I would still try to win the face-off. I think I would try to draft a face-off guy, at least that's capable of maybe.
Yeah, they're figuring it out too. You might see every team go back to dressing face-off guy. The milkman might come back. Milkman might come back into the picture. Might have an effect.
Like Pat would always say this. Pat says it appears that these kind of rules is getting closer and closer to eliminating the face-off overall.
Right.
The way that is, and I don't know that's a great thing either.
I don't know. Smalls, do you know back in the day, before they changed the rule to go down for the face-off, the face-off rule for men was like women's, standing up with the ball in between the two sticks. Could that equalize it? Could that make it a more fair thing? Let them stand up like the girls. And then you still see, even though the girls, it could seem like much harder to control, you still see girls who get high percentages who figure it out, know how to hook it back to themselves or whatever, But the idea is, unless you're just going to go straight alternate possession.
That's what you should do. I mean, you talk about, what's fair, that's fair.
That's the rule. That's the rule in the sixes after a goal. Not all, after
that'll put a lot of these guys out of business that do face-off things and that. The face-off guys like the field goal kicker of your team. They're like, now at this point, they're not even in the huddle. They're standing on the side.
I think the biggest mistake that we make in college lacrosse one of the major mistakes that college lacrosse makes today is that the guy, the face-off guy, runs right out where you can actually create, what do you call that, transition? You can actually create more transition with a face-off guy when he gets it than any other time in the game. You don't get those opportunities because they go in and out, in and out, in and out, and it's all even. I just don't like that. There's no transition in the game. I like to see the college game get more up to the pro game. I do like these little things, the 2-shot clock, 2-point shot. I like to put a 4-point shot in, but that's crazy. At least a 2 or 3-point shot in the game would really add flavor to the college game. You want to add fans, you want to gimmicks, like the Prince. Like you said, the guy, the Prince of Lacrosse. You got to put gimmicks in the game and have fun to grow participation.
I don't know. You're going to argue that the college game overall is not a great game. The Final Four had 40,000 people.
It's a great game, but you can add value. You can add more value. You got 30,000 next year. You add these plays. You add some of these things, and you'll get a little bit more people. You will.
I think the bigger problem with the college right now is that with NIL and with the transfer portal, you're creating two classes of teams within the division. Like for instance, for Division I, if you're talking the top level, Division I, you're talking about handfuls of teams that are basically like an elite group, and everybody else who's starting to become like a training ground for the elite group. So you see,
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about constantly guys. Oh, the guy's at this school, and he had a great.
So you're gonna have a few more teams that are not as good.
He's going to Virginia, or he's going this one. He's going to Duke, or they have good years at smaller schools, and then they're out going to the bigger school. So how does the smaller school or the lesser renowned school compete ultimately?
You can't.
They develop their own talent that leaves. So how do they ever get over the top?
Listen, it's the nature of the beast right now. I mean, look, you're talking about the top, right? It's been like that. It's been like that for 50 years.
No. But you could have left. You had the opportunity after 2 years at Hofstra. You could have left and gone to Hopkins.
But I'm saying,
there was a
regardless of individual guys leaving and doing that and jumping to a team, trying to chase a ring, whatever you want to call it, the top teams are still the top teams. There's been a few broke through.
I don't. Yeah, but they're not. But I'm saying that's my point. My point is the other teams are not going to break through. They're really not going to break through now because BU has a good guy. The guy leaves and he goes to the ACC. Or if there's plenty of them. Vermont. 3 guys from Vermont ended up on which team? Duke. There was some
Maryland.
One of those ACC teams on Maryland. They were right. They were on Maryland in the Big Ten. So between the Big Ten, the Ivy. Now maybe they're doing it to the Ivy for a different reason. Maybe a guy's like, you know what? I'm at Post like me, and then I can go to Ivy.
Yeah,
I'm going to
not
Princeton.
like guys like crazy to Ivy League schools. I can tell you that. Yeah, and there's not. Some schools don't even accept the transfers in the Ivy. But look, the bottom line is there's always going to be the haves and the have-nots. It's just the level of players. There's a lot deeper talent pool, and with very good coaching, you might be able to catch up to these teams. I don't know if you ever can because they got more depth. Clearly the ACC and the Big Ten have been, the two elite conferences right now. Although the Ivy had a very good conference, but it goes in waves.
How does the Patriot League get consistently multiple
They're
teams
never
into
gonna.
the
They're never
tournament?
gonna. They're right now. They're more or less a one-team league and then on the other hand, you got people complaining about AQs, right? You got people. They shouldn't have made it. Well, they got an AQ. They said in a stinky league.
No, listen. I think the AQ was a development that did develop other leagues and other teams, but I do think NIL and the transfer portal defeats the AQ. It changes that
this
dynamic.
conversation.
Because there were no other games to talk about. The only other thing in the league is Denver didn't play.
Well,
and that was a shame.
Yeah, and coming off that kind of win they did, you would have hoped they would have had momentum into the next week.
And Smalley's man O'Neal,
marquee player,
blew up blew up the internet. He blew up the internet with that fourth quarter, and now he had to sit on ice for 2 weeks because next week there's not even a game. There's not even a game this coming weekend. So
Why?
from his,
Why was that again? I'm sorry. Yeah.
there's no game scheduled this weekend.
Uh,
You know, so
what,
now
what do we got left in the PLL here, guys? We got 4 games left.
Some have 6.
What do we have
One
total?
team has 6. The other team, most of the teams have 7 games left.
And then we go into the playoffs.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? 6 games in the
10
playoffs.
overall games.
Yeah.
You know,
All right, but we're halfway through.
no, not
Not
quite,
quite.
halfway. One or two teams have played 4 games.
Basically close. All right, so we are we gonna
And that
do the
goes
show from the?
Maybe
We get some guys in the. I get my man set to come right in on the show.
The other thing is we got asked to see another great event that I think all across in multiple areas that takes place various dates. Shootout for Soldiers is in, I think it's July 11th in Long Island on a Thursday. You know, goes through the middle of the night and anything. But Mike Nelson asked us if we could maybe do something at that event, which I think would be nice if we could figure it out.
For a great cause. They've been doing it a number of years. They really put their heart and soul into it, and they raise some money, and it's really a great cause.
So would we be able? Let me ask you guys a question. I'm just thinking outside the norm here, which I know you guys are so perfect to do that. Is there any way that we can really help raise money if I bring some apparel and rassle it off, whatever that word is, and what do you call it?
Rascal is the word you're looking for.
Rascal? What do you say? Rascal? Rascal?
I don't know.
Tell came out, man. I'm sorry. All right, so I'm saying a little rascals. No, I'm saying
we could do something. I think it would be nice to maybe set up, and we'll go and set up there, and we'll,
I want to set up there, and I want to wear red shirts.
Okay.
What I want to do is wear red shirts.
Right, we'll leave that. We'll leave that to you, but we're going to show up with clothes.
Well, I want to put 3 guys up there. What picture would you like? A young Vinny or an old Vinny?
Picture? We need a picture.
What?
Vinny, you can't go wrong because he's always got his hair.
Yeah.
Shiny hair, I know. So I don't know how you guys do it.
Wait, look.
So we'll sit. All right. So we'll have a table there. I mean, doesn't it go 24 hours? Something very hard.
We'll pick a time when maybe there's some club guys or some people that we might.
I'd like to get people down there. In fact, I'd like to. How much money can we really raise for this shootout? I'd like to bring our fans down there.
Quite a bit of money.
So let me ask you a question: could I raise
Probably.
$5,000?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
So we'll get people to come down. Or we have to tell them when is the event, Stephen?
You didn't say
It's July 11th. I believe it's July 11th.
July 11th. It's 24 hours for our fans.
But I'm gonna ask Nelly for our purposes. I'm gonna ask Nelly what the best time for us to be, where maybe we can, you know, because obviously we're not gonna go there at 3:00 in the morning. And
we can go there at 3.
They have numerous. They play at numerous fields too. Probably the best is to go to Massapequa.
Yeah. Well, that's right. That's
wait a second. That's a good point, Vinny. There are 3
More than
fields.
3,
right.
I think. There's a bunch. But we'll figure it out. You know, we don't have to do the logistics stuff right now.
We'll get the
just let everybody know we're going to be there, and we hope that they would participate.
Well, no, the thing is, once we're there next week, I want to give a game. We're going to be at a featured game. So we say, this is where we're going to be at.
We'll
I'd like to get a fan base.
I just told you, it's not until July sometime. Middle of July.
Last minute Vinny, Stephen. He's telling us that. Last minute Vinny. I love him to death. He is the greatest.
I work
He's the
best
greatest
under pressure.
of
What
all
can
time.
I tell you?
We also talked about Elna coming on soon.
Oh, I
That
love
would
my
be
new guy,
exciting,
Walter,
guys.
baby.
To talk to. Very exciting, 2-time national champ. And who else we got? You've been talking Tierney. Seth,
I can't
where
get
is he?
Tierney. He's a big time guy now.
He's elusive.
No, he'll
We're
come
gonna
on.
get him. We're
Seth
gonna
is the
get him.
guy. You got to get Seth. Who's better than Seth in the game? I never
Maybe we
seen
gotta
it.
hear. Maybe we should hear from the fans who they want us to get. We could get anybody if they tell us.
I could. Yes, we'll put it on a post. We'll put that on a post. We'll let them comment. Who should we get? And let's see who they come up with. and
Can we
hopefully
get? Hold on. Can we get some college players
we
to
can get that too.
for the soldiers? The shootout for soldiers?
If they'll be down there, why not? You know, the other place where we could go, you know, I'm sure Caniac, I don't think Caniac plays the week that that's going on, that the shootout's going on, and the guys are over there. So yes, we should be able to get
All right.
some.
Okay. Then we come out with a shirt. I'm going to donate some stuff. You donate something, you get a nice shirt or something like that. Let's see what we can do for the soldiers, man. Come on, our fathers were soldiers. Mr. G was a soldier.
It's grown every year. They've grown it every year. It's just bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, like you said, maybe the field even starts to become an issue. But
Alden Dykeman, he's a legend, man, in that.
Yeah. And Tom
Finch.
Who? No, Completaro.
The guy that does these parts. Okay.
Campy. You know, he's been doing it, and
guys put a lot of time in, man.
And Nelly. So there's a lot of people involved, and it grows and it raises a lot of money, obviously, for a fantastic cause. And it's and they do it all over the country.
Steven, is it possible to have a live podcast there where we'll get people on the set? Could it happen or not really? We don't really have any clue.
It can. We can make it happen. Even
right.
as Wayne's World as we are, we can make it happen.
A live podcast! My God. Can you believe it? Oh, my God.
He's looking at
I don't know what
What's he doing?
I don't know.
He's fooling with his hair. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
And I got news for you. You should get a comb. Forget about the hat. Get a comb.
No, I'm worried about what hairdo I'm going to do for my next head coaching job. I'm going to get well enough. Now I'm going to get Weller into like Princeton or somewhere. I'm hooking Welder up now. That's my new guy, Mr. Welder.
Well, let's talk about that as one of the last things, because I'll give a shout out.
Go ahead.
Okay, if we're going to give some shout outs, my shout out's going to go out to John Crawley. Congratulations on the High Point job. Not a better guy, come from a better family. What a beautiful family they have. You know, nobody works harder. The guy it's in his blood. He loves to do it. You can, when you watch him on the sidelines, whether it was at Lehigh or whether it was at Hopkins and now soon to be at High Point, you can see the enthusiasm and the positive energy that he constantly brings to every team he's involved with. And I'm sure that they're going to have some good success and make some noise. That's going to be a great thing. So that's who my shout out is, to John Crawley, and best of luck.
Yeah.
What do you got, Smalls?
I'm going to make a shout out to the whole Chaminade Nation. As far as that, coming to help us out shooting for soldiers. Can't say it. What did I say?
Shoot out for soldiers.
I say it. My head is so shooting for soldiers. Shooting for soldiers. I'd like to give a shout out, and then I'd like to also give a shout out for Welner. See if we can get him there. And a few of the boys and raise some real money on behalf of Chaminade. And of course, my late father, 1949, Joe Smalley, who graduated top of his class at Chaminade. So I'd like to do something like that. You know, get a big Chaminade crew for that day. It sounds good, right?
Fantastic.
They all got the money.
I'd like to give a shout out. We mentioned Nelly and some of the other guys involved with the Shootout for Soldiers, but one of the founders, I believe, and one of the guys very involved in it for very long, not only in that, but in lacrosse in general, and has done so much for Long Island lacrosse. Harry Jacobs has been a very instrumental guy, you know, and, Saturday I went to watch some games over at Nassau, and he was over there. These are guys who spent their lives on fields and trying to grow the game and make it a fun experience for everybody who plays. You know, the most important thing is, especially for these young kids, I went this weekend to see some games, and, one thing, Smalls, is always about the fun. The fun level has got to be there. You know, some of this club stuff can be rough on kids with the travel and the whole bit. These guys try to make it as best they can, a great experience for them. And, you know, they put their heart and souls in this. It's not like they're getting rich on this. They're just, the guys I'm talking about. I mean, these are guys who've been volunteers basically their whole lives, and they've done a great job, and it's greatly appreciated by lacrosse people who know who they are.
Well, that looks like it's going to be a wrap. Maybe we go out with a tune. Woo!